Hello. Welcome to the CTO Dungeon, the podcast where we learn about CTOs and their natural habitats, the dungeons where they tech. I'm Bernardo Tavares, your host, the CTO now of Granted AI. We rebranded. And with me, I have Pavel.
Hello everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to the dungeon. We're here to explore what it means to be a CTO, the good, the bad, and everything in between. With us today we have Rui Ferrão, CTO at Code for All. Welcome to the show, Rui. How are you doing?
Hi, Pavel. Hi, Bernardo. Thank you for having me. I'm doing really well. Thank you. Would be nicer if the weather was like on my background, because unfortunately it has been raining for the past few days. But other than that, everything is cool. Everything is good.
No, it is the mindset of having the sea behind you. It's all that matters. We just cannot look at the window right now.
But you have cool guitars, so that makes up for it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I need to have them on display. So very nice to have you. I will start with the first question. If you can tell us a bit for the people that don't know Code for All, if you can tell us a bit about Code for All.
Okay, so Code for All started as an edtech business. Most people will know us from our full stack coding bootcamps at Academia de Codigo. Things have evolved a little bit, so now we do lots of other things. We have our own educational platform for kids. We also do consulting and services. So there's a whole bunch of things going on, and I think during this podcast we'll have the chance to touch in quite a few of them and to get to know a little bit better what we do. But that's it. Basically, it's all about software and programming and sharing that passion.
And now knowing about Code for All, the question that we make to everyone here is, what was the moment and when did you decided to become a CTO? And
I don't think
how did this happen?
Okay, I don't think there's a moment for that. I don't know how it went with the other guests of your show, but for me, getting into a leadership position was kind of accidental, in the sense that my passion was always about producing software, and it was all about the technical side of things. But eventually, throughout my career, I decided that I wanted to work for myself, and I started consulting. And then from consulting to my own business, it was the next logical step. And then eventually to the invitation to join Code for All. So seeing myself on a leadership role and as the CTO of Code for All just happened naturally. So I don't think there was a moment that I took the decision. There was a moment that I decided to accept to be a part of this project of Code for All, which is different.
So I know some of the details, but I would actually like to explore them a little bit further.
Yeah.
And you might suspect with whom I talked.
Yes, I do. I know for sure with whom you talked, just from the question you're about to ask me.
I guess I kind of want to explore the idea when you can you tell the story, how did you enter the room for the interview and what happened there, and how did you arrive there?
I'm going to tell you all of the story. So as I said, I was consulting for quite a few years. Then I started my own company. We developed bespoke software for the space industry, and that whole project was going for I don't know, about 10 years or something. And I was at a situation that it didn't make it nor break it. So we didn't went bankrupt, but we didn't really took off. And after a while, I think this is one of the worst situations to be in. You feel like nothing that you do is going to take you out of that situation. So I really wanted to shake things up a little bit. And I thought at some moment in time, when one of our projects went sideways, I said, okay, enough. I'm going to do something different. And then I started to craft this amazing plan, that I would take a sabbatical year. I was thinking about going to San Francisco, just surfing, and I don't know, exploring some other technology that I was not working with.
I'm already guessing that it didn't happen.
It didn't. You have all this nicely engineered plan, and then things completely go in a different direction. So yeah, I wanted to spend there a year because I had done a previous trip there, and I was quite how can I say, excited with the whole vibe at Silicon Valley, and I went on a tour through all of the universities there. I visited Stanford, Berkeley, and I had some chats with some really nice professors, and the whole vibe was really attracting me. And it has great waves, which is besides from coding, it's another one of my greatest passions is the sea and surfing. So I thought this is
You,
perfect.
sir? Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's perfect. I'm
That's
going to be
the
here a
typical.
year, just catching great waves and studying again after so many years, just working my ass off. So it's going to be awesome. And while I was doing this, I thought, okay, but just surfing is not enough. I need to study something. I need to learn something. And at the time, on my company, we were already on a transition where most of our projects were developed using the Java stack, but JavaScript was getting in quite strongly on quite a few projects. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna spend some amount of time knowing the JavaScript ecosystem, which was completely different from what it is today. We're talking 2015, beginnings 2015. And yeah, so that was my idea. So I started, and at the same time, the whole bootcamp, coding bootcamp scene was exploding in the US. And I entered into some conversations with Hack Reactor, which was one of the leading coding bootcamps in the US. They placed people in at Google, Amazon, all Meta. So all the big tech companies hired their alumni, and I thought, okay, why not? I mean, it was a bit expensive at the time. 2015, I believe it was 22K the program for 12 weeks or something like that. But I thought it's a nice way to spend some of my free time just knowing people in the area, getting to myself familiarized with the new tech stack and surfing. And so that was the plan. And when I started to realize the whole coding bootcamp scene over there that was exploding, and it was kind of taking the role of a more formal and traditional education. At that time, I started to wonder, but what about Europe and specifically Portugal? I got curious if there was anything happening in this environment, in this context in
Section.
yeah. So I looked around Europe to see how we were, and there were a few coding boot camps in the UK. There was one in Barcelona, I believe it was Iron Hack. They are our competitors now here in Portugal as well. And there was this really nice website about Academia de Codigo as a coding bootcamp, but they didn't really. It looked nice, but they didn't really set anything, and it got me intrigued and curious. So I dropped them a message trying to see who are these guys and what are they doing, right? And then somebody from the other side replies to my emails, which was Katarina, that you know very well, Pavel, and she started telling me about this that they hadn't started the coding bootcamp yet, but they had this initiative with kids, Academia de Codigo Junior, and and she asked me if I wanted. I don't remember the specific details, but it had something to do if I was interested in teaching some kids or doing something, and the conversation started flowing from there. Then there was this interesting aspect of it because Katerina was trying to pose herself as a developer and writing code for the emails and something like that. So I just write something back to test her and to see who I was talking with, and of course the posting stopped there, and this is how it started. Then I went there to get to know them, to get to know the founders. At the time, João was who is our CEO right now, and he was one of the founders. I talked with João, and he basically explained the project to me, what they wanted to do. They already had the grant from the Lisbon municipality to deliver coding bootcamps. So they had everything. They had the money, they had the project, the name, everything, but they had nobody that understands technology. And so basically, they had done a couple of interviews, but they didn't like anybody for that CTO role. And they said, "Well, do you want to consider this more seriously? Do you want to join the project and be this missing piece that we need? It's an important piece, we're going to teach people how to develop software, so we need somebody that knows a little bit about it."
And that's crazy. That's I think sometimes it is like the perfect timing, the perfect person with exactly what he was looking for. So sometimes it's just timing. Like
Yeah.
really
Exactly.
nice story.
But for me, I'm not sure if the timing was right, in the sense that taking a company off the ground, it's a huge amount of work, and I had been really working a lot at my previous company. I mean, there were full years that I never took one day off, one Saturday or Sunday, just working crazy amounts of hours to deliver projects. I was really, really needing a rest, not to start a new business. So in that sense, the timing was not perfect at all, and I have to tell you that I really gave it some serious thoughts, and I was,
Because it wasn't the
yeah,
time.
and I was not
Got
inclined
it. Okay.
I didn't felt at the time that I had the energy to start a new project immediately. I wanted that 1 year
The sabbatical.
sabbatical resting year. But I mean, João and the other guys, they were so nice, convincing me to join the project. I really felt like the team was great, and that I really clicked with them, and I felt that I could really work with those guys. And on the other hand, I felt that they really needed somebody to take that project off the ground. So eventually, they managed to convince me, and you know how Katarina is, Pavel.
Yeah.
She didn't let go until I said yes.
Yeah.
And that's it. I mean, they also, there's a funny thing as well. They asked me to give them like a lesson, to teach them something about programming, about software. So I had Catarina and João sitting on a desk at Rua da Prata, while for a couple of hours I tried this task of teaching two people that never coded before how to write some simple stuff in JavaScript, and I think they really enjoyed the way in which I was able to simplify the concepts and things and getting the knowledge across. And immediately they saw that I was a good fit for the job. So they offered me the partnership in the company, and I said, and after some considerable serious thinking, I eventually joined the project, and that's it. That's how.
So you didn't have the sabbatical year yet.
No, not at all. And I have to
You'll
say,
get it after
I don't know.
retirement.
I don't know when that's going to happen, but I mean, now Code for All is an established company. Things are different. We have a much bigger structure. At the time, I mean, it was just myself on the educational and technical side of things, and as with every other project, when you take it off the ground, you need to do everything, and you need a lot of energy, a lot of time, and I mean, I joined Code for All in July 2015, and I already had some holidays planned for August. And immediately we started our first bootcamp in September. So you can see how crazy that whole thing was. For the first 2 years, they were really insane. Not only with Code for All, but also with the kids platform, which is now known as Ubu. We also started to develop that platform at the same time. So we were sharing resources between the coding bootcamp teachers and the platform developers. It was crazy again, crazy amount of hours working, nights,
I would
weekends,
like
days,
to help
everything.
more in that.
Yeah.
But before that, I'm curious. You mentioned Rua da Prata, so I mentioned. I guess at the time you were still in the Startup Lisboa.
Yeah.
So I think I remember you were on the one of the top rooms, right?
Yeah, well, we started, I think, on the second floor in one of the sides of the Rua da Prata, because Startup Lisboa expanded to another building on the other side of the road. So at some point they had two buildings in the two sides of the road. Then we also expanded to the second building. So we
Oh,
had
okay.
we had
So
the
okay,
classroom.
I'm now in the Startup Lisboa on the fourth floor, but I figured it was always the same building. It
No,
wasn't.
no, no,
Okay,
no.
I
No, no.
actually didn't knew that.
That was the second building already. So yeah, so we expanded to that second building as well, and eventually it was too small for us, and we had to get out of there. And we went to Casa do Impacto. Well, actually, the whole Casa do Impacto concept was something we proposed to Santa Casa, and we kind of created the thing together with them.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then
That's
we
great.
stayed there for quite a while, and eventually it also became too small for us, and we had to leave. And it's interesting because after that we kind of got scattered all around Lisbon and the country as well. So we have our right now we have an office in Saldanha, one in Telheiras, the campus still in Santa Casa, another one in Matinha. Crazy stuff. So now we are well, we kind of already opened our new campus, but the formal opening when all the construction work stops and everything should be around January. And the idea is to get everybody together again into one place. You know, so
Wow.
even though the shout out was supposed to be at the end of this
You're
podcast,
making the shout out now.
already shout out everybody that is interested to come and know our campus, to have a look at our.
Where is gonna be? I didn't know about that.
It's in Alcântara, near Docas.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
is a nice place.
yeah,
It
So
had to be
there you
near,
can have that view.
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
It had to be near the water, yeah.
There's some things in front of us, but we can still see a bit of the river.
Yeah. Wow, Rui, that was an amazing story, and thank you for sharing it. It looks like uh, I'm really curious of what tipped, because you said you wanted to go to San Francisco, take some time and surf and learn new things. And you already probably mentioned the team made you
Yeah.
choose that. Was only the team, or
No, no,
was
not really, not really. The team was a big part of it, and the fact that I clicked with them, that I felt like I can really help these guys and make this idea that they have a reality. But there was something else. Throughout my whole professional career, I had many, many, many opportunities to teach things to people, right? And I always had this impression that it was easy for me to transfer knowledge. There was something that I knew. The person sitting in front of me was not didn't have any prior knowledge on this subject, and I felt that I could really simplify, distill, and boil down things to their most important and core concepts and get that message across. So I had this idea that I was good at teaching and that I liked it. So that kind of played a role as well. And also a bit of a frustration that I always had with how bad most of the teachers that I came across through my life were, both in high school, university, all of that. I really, I don't know. I think I count three, four persons throughout my whole life that I thought, okay, this person knows how to teach. You know,
Okay.
the rest, they might know a lot about the subject, but they are unable to teach it to somebody else. So this
I
kind
can
of
relate to that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this kind of grunge that I hold against our this whole teaching and dedication system that we have, and my presumption perhaps that I was kind of good at it, combined with what I said about the team, all these things together, it was what made me tip. You know.
Yeah, and honestly, I think for our audience, Rui was my teacher in 2016. I knew nothing about JavaScript or Java, and I remember clearly he was explaining like this concept, which tight coupling. I never forget about it. So yes, you were a great teacher,
No,
and
thank you, Pavel. You're too
we
kind.
it's true, and. I think the thing about the Academia de Codigo at the time and now Code for All is it really made a difference in a lot of people's life, including mine. So here I am interviewing my teacher, which is we're coming first full circle. So I think we covered quite well the your beginnings and how you ended up um, embarking into this journey, which now has been what 7 years, 8 years,
Yeah.
something like that. So Bernardo, do you wanna move to the wheel of the
Let's do the
technical
wheel. Let's
questions?
do the wheel thing.
All right. So I'm gonna share my screen quickly. We have so the way this works is we have 10 questions and we don't know
Which
which one will appear, and then let's see what what we talk about. So
let's
the
spin
questions
the
are,
wheel.
yeah, let's spin the wheel. So all right, let's see.
Is it like the bootcamp randomizer?
Almost. So the question is, what advice would you give to your younger self when you first started the journey?
Okay, so
Good one.
advice when I first started the journey. I mean, thinking about my journey, I don't really have any regrets or things that I wish I would have done and haven't done. Perhaps something which is a bit of a characteristic of my journey as somebody that gets involved into technologies. I've never been one of those first and early adopters. So I've always been kind of conservative in adopting technology, which kind of seems strange because people think about uh, persons that work in technology as being always on the cutting edge, and that's
Yeah.
not me at all. And sometimes, if you want to be, if you want to have an important role in some field, some technology, some area, you need to be an early adopter. So perhaps I would give that advice. Don't be. It's not about. I was going to say don't be afraid, but it's not about being afraid. It's about taking a little bit of risk because the way I thought about it was okay. There's all these new and shiny technologies coming up all the time. My time is limited. I cannot spend time on all of them. So I thought it was a much better approach to wait until something was mature and everybody was using it. And then I thought, okay, now this is important enough for me to drop everything else that I'm doing and make the move over here. But by that time, then it's harder for you to stand out in that area, in that field. So perhaps I would tell myself, invest more time in exploring new things and try to find something that you like and that you like more than everything else, and try to be an early adopter and an early explorer. And then if it doesn't work out and that thing dies and you realize that you took the wrong bet, I mean, that's life, and move on and make another bet until one of them succeeds.
Just to clarify, we are talking about tech here, so
Yeah,
about
tech.
exploring new tech
Yeah.
stack. Okay, so
Yeah.
I totally relate because I'm really skeptical from start off with new tech. But yeah, sometimes it's really hard to take that time, right? It's
Yeah,
like
yeah. You have so
it's
you
under like not in your priority list, and
no.
at some point, and that was before where you used to get maybe outdated on a yearly basis. Now
Places.
I feel like
Yes.
more recently I kind of being outdated each month.
It's even worse
So
now.
it's even worse now. So I think that's a really interesting topic.
Yeah,
Mostly with
Yeah.
AI now and everything, I feel like every month I'm outdated again.
yeah. And so, how do you deal with it? What do you do? You know, because if you jump on the very first thing that pops up, I mean, you're always going to be jumping every month.
And it's impossible because you don't know. There are so many new frameworks and shiny things. You don't
Yeah,
know which one is going to actually
yeah,
going to be used. So
exactly. And
when there
then,
was the wave of JS frameworks,
Yeah,
I don't
JavaScript.
know. Like I guess I'm cannot try them all.
yeah.
I went for Vue, by the way, but
Your
Yes,
view.
I have a story on that. I think this was during your bootcamp, Pavel.
Oh,
On the first bootcamp, so the for those who don't know, the gist of the bootcamp is we want to transform people that never had a job in tech or developed software into junior software developers, right? So we need to choose some technologies to be able to teach, but the end goal is not to teach those technologies, but to teach people how to develop software. So we chose Java for many reasons. I thought it was good from a pedagogical standpoint. It was also the thing that I worked with on a daily basis when I joined, and it was also something in great demand from the market. So it looked nice, but I wanted something more modern and Chinese. So I also brought a little bit of JavaScript in there, and wanted to have all the students replacing what they've learned with Java, all those pieces of the stack with equivalent pieces in JavaScript. And I had a framework for doing that, which was the one that I had played a little bit around the time, which was Angular. So I got stuck on Angular for quite some time. And during Pavel's bootcamp, a lot of the students were already playing with React and trying
yes.
things out and asking me about React. And I'm like, this Angular stuff just barely came out, and these guys are already going after the next shiny thing. But long story short, a couple of boot camps after we ditched Angular, and we've been stuck with React internally up until now. And now, in hindsight, it was a great idea to try the new shiny thing. But of course, you only know that afterwards. So that was an interesting thing, and
Yeah. Yeah, I am actually stuck with Angular. For some reason, it makes sense in my head. It's a bit more structured and yeah, I mean, if it
it's a proper
on
framework, right?
yeah. So yeah, for the front end, it's Angular. That's what I know. If I need
Okay.
to scrap something together, it will be Angular. But I've been experimenting with Svelte,
Yeah,
which is a different idea. But okay,
I heard
anyway.
about it. Yeah. Never played with that one.
um, all right,
So
and
So
what's the
let's
deal
move to
now? Are you
the
going
next
to
question.
move the wheel again?
yeah,
Yeah.
let's
Do
do the
that.
wheel. I didn't remove the previous question, so let's see what comes out.
Well, I guess I've kind of told you guys all about that story.
Yeah, we touched on that.
Yeah, if you don't want
We
to,
are already muted.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So let's spin it again. That's a good one. That's a good one. And it's on topic. We were talking about
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
totally on topic.
yes, exactly. That's perfect. So how the
question
text
is-
is for all, right? And how it
Yeah.
evolved. Well, it depends whether we're talking about the tech stack that we teach at our boot camps, or the tech stack that we use to develop our internal products, or the tech stack that we use when developing for external customers. So it really depends. On the boot camp, it had to make sense from a teaching perspective. So Java being a very structured language, strongly typed, all of that, plus the other things that are already mentioned, it made sense. Also made sense to have something completely different like JavaScript, so that students could really see the difference and also have this experience of learning a new language after already being able to code. And how has that story evolved? Well, we've inserted some minor changes throughout the years on this. On the boot camps, I mean, every new boot camp is an opportunity to iterate and to fix things and to put new things. But because the main goal of the boot camp is not to learn the new and shiny thing, but to teach people how to code, there's really not a sense of urgency in changing that tech stack. But some things we had to do. Like when Java 8 came out and functional programming was a thing in Java, we had to insert a little bit of functional programming on the bootcamp as well, because up until that point, we could really say to the students and to employers, well, our students are leaving the bootcamp and they know Java from one end to the other, right? And after Java 8 and functional programming was a thing again, that was no longer true. So we had to adapt a little bit and insert that. We ditched Angular, as I said. Now, now we don't even teach any JavaScript framework in the bootcamp. To be honest, they do it all in vanilla JavaScript, and we leave frameworks for afterwards. So if you can do it everything by hand, you can also use a framework to help you out, right? So that's on the teaching side. So always minor adjustments, and it's always inserting things, which is a bit of a challenge. We never get to take anything out of the bootcamp syllabus, and there's only 14 weeks, and eventually I don't know what we're going to do. But we never seem to find, at least not everybody agrees on this. This is a subject.
Polemic.
Yeah, it's there's some polemic here, but when I go through the syllabus, because what we're telling, it's a whole story, right? Since the beginning, and how this machine that we are going to program is built until the end. This whole story. There's no missing pieces here. So if I take something out, there's going to be a hole in there, and
Yeah.
I don't believe in leaving holes in people's learning, because if we do, they'll think it's black magic, and that's not what I want. So we never take things out, and we're always putting some things in. So eventually, something is going to have to give either time, and we have to expand it, or we have to do something. I don't know. On
But
the
I totally get it, and let me say I really like that approach. I mean, I'm the only guy here. I don't really know that much about bootcamps. I was never in a bootcamp. I was self-taught actually,
Mhm.
but I really like the approach that, and I have many people coming to me asking like suggestions about which bootcamp and going into details about what is the tech they teach. And I really think it shouldn't matter if you are
Yeah,
teaching how to code. You are
exactly.
supposed to be like is like we were talking. Is supposed to be changing every month.
Yeah,
So what
Yeah.
really matters is being able to learn
learning.
fast.
Yeah,
And if you are compiling that much in that amount of time, I think that's the exact exercise of the what happens in reality, which is learning and a bit of all. And if you are already doing presenting native stuff, so for instance, vanilla JavaScript, so people can then go from there and actually make their lives easier at some point by using frameworks. That's way better than the other way around.
yeah, exactly.
So I really think that's the way to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
you're
yeah, I'm just here
you're
expressing
absolutely
my opinion.
you're absolutely right, Bernardo. That's you're on point. That's exactly my thoughts as well, and that's how we do
I
it.
think it's really cool.
But then there's other sides of this story of how we evolved with tech on our own product development. We don't use Java at all, which is a bit of a problem in the sense that we are training a lot of people in Java that we could use all these teams to knowledge to develop software. But in the end, because most of the times we need to develop fast, and we needed something a little bit more agile in the sense of being able to iterate and get something out quicker. We opted for a full JavaScript stack. So things like Node and React are like in our DNA on most of the products that we develop. On the kids education platform, it's a mix of things. So we started with Ruby and JavaScript and Angular and all of that,
Oh,
and
wow.
now it's a mix of old Angular stuff with new React stuff and a bit of everything. And I mean, in real life and real life projects, sometimes changing the stack and evolving, it's hard. You know, you
Mhm.
don't want to break stuff. It's working. You need to, if you want to change things, you need to do it incrementally in small steps. It would be wonderful if we could always start from scratch and make all the right decisions again. But
Yeah.
most of the times, when you learn enough about the problem to make the right decisions, you've already invested too much in the wrong decisions. So that's life.
Yeah. Speaking of tech stack, so with this explosion of AI and generative AI and everything else, do you plan to have? I don't know actually. Do you have any courses on that? Do you plan
Well,
on that?
yes, we kind of do. I didn't told you this. I was once again saving it for the end, but we've expanded our product offering quite a bit. So we have these full stack courses, which are long duration courses, and they intend to bring you from knowing nothing to be a junior developer, right? But now we're also coming out with a set of introductory courses that work more as a teaser, or if you're not sure or you're not ready to invest and to make the transition immediately, but you just want to learn a little bit about a certain aspect of technology and what it is.
A teaser.
A teaser, kind of a teaser,
Yeah.
and it's also in line with this government funding program, the Czech
Oh, yeah.
was, yeah. So it's kind of putting both things together. The fact that the government is expressing some goodwill and subsidizing people's training and having an offer from our side. And on those introductory courses, we do have AI related stuff. There's one about prompt engineering. There's one about data. So you can go online and check our website and pre-register there, and we'll help you out on the aspect of getting the government funding as well. So yes, there's also some AI aspects on some of the products that we developed. So I think it's impossible to escape this whole AI hype. Once again, speaking just for myself, not for the whole organization that I represent, but just for myself, I'm never the quickest guy to jump into something new. So I'm still watching and observing AI a little bit from a distance, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's
All
really
right.
interesting.
That's a good overview. Thank you.
Yeah.
By the way, for the context for people there's this new incentive. I think it's like digital voucher for training
Yes.
that people can get, and is a way to actually get funds from the government and make you. And you apparently can use it with Academia de Codigo,
Yeah.
which I might actually look into. I don't.
Yeah.
Might be
It's
interesting.
there's still a lot of doubt on how this whole thing is going to work.
Like any incentive.
Like anything that is advertised or communicated by our government. So from theory to practice, sometimes there's a gap, and we need to see. But yeah, that's the main idea: is that there are a few training. If you are a certified training entity like Code for All is. You can subscribe to one of our courses that meets the requirements for this program. And once you register and you are approved by the government and you complete the training successfully, the government will give you the money back. Something like that. But if you leave your contact on our website, somebody from our side that knows a whole lot more about this than myself, they will get in touch with you and they will work out the details with you.
Rui, we'll need to talk. My startup, it's all about grants and incentives, so we
Yeah.
need to talk after. But
For
let's
sure, for
proceed
Yeah.
Yeah.
for the next
So
quiz.
Alrighty.
Still doing again.
Yeah, let's see what we have in.
And which one?
Okay. So let's
what
let's
was-
talk about.
The most challenging aspects of growing Code for All from the ground up.
Okay. Well,
Other than no sabbatical for you.
yeah. Well, I can only respond to this question from my own perspective. Like the question is phrased as a CDO, so from that perspective, I can answer. Because I think if you ask that question to any founder, independently
It's going to be
of
different.
their role, they'll have different answers, different difficulties, different pains, but it's always a process of pain to get a company off the ground. I've never met anybody that told me, "Oh, this was a breeze; it just happened," and I'm very successful. I don't believe in that. I believe that success takes a lot of effort, a lot of energy, and so everybody has different pains. But the one thing we share in common is that we all had pain. Okay. So myself, what was the biggest challenge? Well, for me personally, I like technology. I like software. I like to produce software, and Code for All started as an edtech business. So we started teaching. We needed teachers. Teachers are persons. And for me, persons are way harder to deal with and to understand than machines. Machines, I know what to expect. So scaling up Code for All meant scaling up a team of people, dealing with people's pains, dealing with a whole bunch of things that I really was not ready for, and I think I'm still not. And
Interesting. You
that
figure
for
it was
me,
going to be more technical.
yeah,
Today is all about people.
yeah, it's all about people. I mean, for Ubu, our educational platform is completely the other way around because very early on we made the decision of changing from having teams of teachers that were going to schools to teach kids, and we immediately saw there's no way we can scale this business by having teams of teachers going around schools and teaching computer science. This is not going to work. So very early on, we made that change into a product-based service, and we developed the platform that the teachers would use in classroom. That platform allows any teacher, even without any prior knowledge of computer science, to teach computer science concepts to kids. So the whole curriculum is there, what the teachers need to learn, how they need to teach it. So it's both a platform for kids and for teachers. And by doing that, scaling up that side of the business is really easy. I mean, if more schools, more parents, more people want to get on the platform, we sell more licenses. We go to Azure or AWS and we press the button and we scale it up, and it's easy. Scaling persons, oof, way
Is less scalable.
yes. People are less scalable. Let's
Yeah.
put it that way.
Yeah, that's very interesting, and I kind of see why you would say that, because at least from my experience, the teachers and obviously you teach me, and then I moved to Fundão, but teacher has a big impact on whoever's learning, and that impact is visible. So you kind of need to have them motivated, have them wanting to do that, wanting to
Yeah.
explain it, and yeah, that's challenging, and obviously you've been successful at it. So yeah,
Let's move to the
Let's
wheel.
go.
Let's
yeah.
let's do them.
Let's
A couple of
let's
them.
a fast round.
Yeah.
You're sharing. I'm sharing, and you're not showing.
Okay, let's go.
All right. Oh wait.
Okay.
Once for all, has had tremendous
Yeah.
success with the employment rate of their students. Why?
Why? I think there's a couple of things at play here. So I've briefly talked about some of them. I think the way the program was designed contributes a lot to this. So I mentioned about this whole bootcamp scene exploding, and that I looked around all the bootcamps and tried to see what these guys were doing. And what I realized was that most of the bootcamps, they were teaching you a recipe on how to develop software with on how to develop some type of application with a specific technology, like develop a web app with Ruby on Rails, or develop a mobile app with Objective C or whatever. So, and my question was, well, what if after this bootcamp somebody asks this person to develop something which is not a web app or not a mobile app, and well, Ruby is not a choice, and would they be able to cope with that? And my self answer to this question was no. So they are not teaching the students how to develop software. They are teaching them how to use a specific tool, and that tool might not be the best tool for the job that is being asked of them, right? So I had this crazy idea of no, what I really want is to teach these students how to develop software. So they need to know the foundations of computer science. They need to know everything that at the time, I had this really strong idea of how to teach computer science to somebody, because I had this idea of how it should have been taught to me, and somebody teach me a whole bunch of things, and I only started to connect the dots later on, either at the final years of university or when I started to work. A lot of those dots only got connected way later, and I didn't understood why. Why can we not teach this sequentially from the beginning so that every dot is perfectly connected? So that's how we developed the bootcamp. And I think the results kind of speak for themselves. So if you look at our alumni from the bootcamp, and you start to see the whole range of technologies that they are working on, then my conclusion was, okay, it worked, because some guys are working with Java, yes. Others are working with JavaScript, with Ruby, with Python, with this, with that, and they change. So they are they are able to learn new things. They are able to use technology, use the right tool for the right job. So that's what I wanted to achieve, and I was successful at that.
Allow me to go a bit deeper, because I totally get that. Like, by having really good people at coding, that's how they got employed and everything. But I also have the sense, maybe I'm wrong, but I have the sense that Academia de Codigo is also very well connected within the enterprises all
Okay,
around somehow.
okay.
Do you think that helped, or not really?
No, I don't think that helped at all. I think that's because that is a consequence of what I of the story that I was telling you
Yeah.
now. It didn't happen like that. So when we started the Academia de Código bootcamps, nobody knew about us. We had zero reputation, and all our students were facing quite a high degree of skepticism from potential employers. Just think of yourself. Most of the people in the tech industry had went through a 5-year degree at university, right? And then all of a sudden you're interviewing somebody that went through a 4-month, 3.5-month boot camp. And if you give a job to this person as a software developer, you're basically saying, well, then why did I study it 5 years? What a
Yeah.
waste of my time, So this was the kind of
Yeah.
mentality that we were up against with. And we only managed to break this mentality through our students. It was students like Pavel and others that were asking for opportunities at companies that decided to take a risk on them. So,
Mhm.
like, this person never developed software, never coded before. Should we risk paying this person a salary, and most likely it's not going to work? And sometimes at the time, the offers that the company were giving our students were really bad, to say the least. We've had companies saying, "Well, you can come here and work, and we'll just pay you the bus or lunch or something like that." I mean, like, no salary at all. And
It's so strange to think that was the mindset. I think,
yeah,
at least from my bubble, I think that's totally out of the window now. I think,
now, things
yeah.
changed quite a lot, but that was the mindset at the time. And well, what I used to advise students was: do you like this company? Does the prospect of working for this company, is it something that you want? Do you like? Yes. Okay, then just go with it. It doesn't matter if they are only paying you lunch or bus or whatever at this time, because they don't believe in you. But if you can do it, just go there. Let your value speak by itself,
By
right?
itself. Yeah.
And for each student that went to work for one of these companies where it managed to show off his skills, that he managed to somehow show to these companies that they could be as productive or even more productive than a recent grad from a computer science university. Each one of those students were the ones that opened the doors to all the other ones that followed, right? So this was all very,
It's
very,
like a feedback loop.
yeah, very organic. It started slowly, slowly, and our network of hiring partners started to grow, to grow, to grow, until a point where we had such a reputation that companies were coming to us, and they were hiring blindly students that we would recommend to them. And So, but that was not our starting point at all. That was all the merit of our students and, of course, of our program as well. And that's what brought us here. Of course,
Zero to hero story.
yes.
Yeah.
Of course, you have different types of companies and different types of profiles in a big multinational consultancy company like those type of companies. They can afford to hire not only the best students but also the less, I don't want to say less skilled students, because everybody's profile is different. Some students are not so good. Let's say somebody coming off the bootcamp is not the best software developer from that class, but it might be the most creative guy, or it might have a very strong design component that others don't. So each student is unique and has its own profile, and it was something that we tried from the beginning to match the profiles of the students with the companies. But some of these big multinational companies, they will come and hire in quantity, but like for a small startup, that's not an option. They want to hire a few selected students, and there really needs to be a match, because a wrong hire on a small company can have a big impact.
Big impact.
So
Yeah.
yeah, there's a bit of everything. There's a mixed market out there, and yeah, we had to conquer it all in a way. So now we are in a good position, even though currently, right now, this year, the market contracted a lot. So things are a bit tough, but I
Well,
mean, there's always be a job and a position for somebody that is willing to work hard and is willing to let its value speak for itself. And I truly believe in this, even if the market,
let's
yeah.
let's
Even
leave it at that, because I think you put it really nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even if the market is hard and you finish the boot camp and perhaps you don't have a work offer immediately in front of you like it used to happen in previous years, but if you keep on working, getting involved into the tech area, going to interviews, taking certifications, there's so much we can do, and our placement team tries to help students with this. But if you have this sort of mentality, you will succeed. And luckily, this is an area that you can succeed on the basis of your own merit. And that's not the case on other areas. I know a lot of people that work in completely different fields of expertise, and some of them are hardworking persons, and it's so hard for them to go up the ranks. There's so much thing going against them, and for us, it's not the case at all. So it's all on your hands. If you really want it and you're willing to work for it, it's there. You just have to go for it.
There's no better way to finish this. That was perfect, Rui.
No more will questions.
No more real questions. This was truly amazing. Thank you for taking the time. I think you have a lot of knowledge in your under your belt, and you've managed to expand on that and showcase uh, what gears run inside Academia de Codigo. At the time, now Code for All. Sorry, I'm still
No,
on
no,
that.
no, it's okay. The Academia de Codigo brand is going to be out there for quite a
Yeah,
while. I mean,
yeah.
everybody knows us for our boot camps, but it's just Code for All. It's more than Academia de Codigo, and
No,
it
there you
makes
have it.
perfect sense. And also to go international, we could not get anybody to pronounce Academia de Codigo.
I'm sure. I'm sure you've tried.
Yes, we've tried not to do it, but I mean, it's the old brand is going to stick around with us for a while. So we're both. We're Commit Coding and we're Code for All, and that's okay.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah. So as a just to end this, we like to give the opportunity to the persons that come to the podcast to give a shout out. We've talked a lot about the Guilherme Codic, a lot about what's happening
Yeah.
out there. Tell us what's happening. Are you hiring? Do you need anyone?
Yeah, we're always looking for talent. We're just as much as we're always producing talent, but most of the talent that we produce is junior talent, people coming out of our boot camps. But we're always looking for more senior talent. Obviously, we as a group we're trying to grow a lot our consultancy and software development business as well, on a whole bunch of different technologies, from the more standard uh, hard coding technologies to low code technologies. We're going for it on all fronts. On the education side of things, we're also expanding our offer. I've already talked about the introductory courses. We also do a lot of labs for upskilling. So if somebody which is already a seasoned programmer wants to learn some new piece of technology and wants to do it with us, we're also trying to cater to those people. We're trying to do all of that, and it's all on our new website. So I would encourage everybody to go there, have a look, and more than that, come and visit us, come and see our new campuses. There's one in Lisbon, which I already talked about, but there's also another one in Porto. So expect a lot of things from us on over not only the end of this year, but also next year. I mean, the will to do a lot of things is there. Sometimes things don't happen as quickly as we want to. There's no magic button to push, but we're working on it. We're trying to get there, and well, we want to do this journey with you guys, and especially our community, everybody that either somehow has already been involved with us. There's a lot of people out there that passed through Code for All. I think the number of alumni should be getting close to 2K. So it's I don't know the exact number, but it's amazing. I could never, in my wildest dreams, back in 2015, think that almost 2,000 software developers are out there working because of this. And it's been an amazing journey, and I invite every one of you to be a part of it. So that's it. That's my shout out.
Thank you,
There you
Rui.
have it. Thank you, Rui.
I mean, you are doing a lot of things we didn't even discuss. I know the local, a lot of things that you also do. But what I know from what I can see as, I guess, a outsider is the amount of impact you have in many people that I've been coming across. So I guess congrats on that. And from the spirit itself, because it seems to be a really nice vibe. And congrats for us so far. Best of luck for the future. And once again, thank you for providing this time of your antenna.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Bernardo. Thank you, Pavel. It has been a wonderful conversation with you guys. And next time, let's meet face to face, and we can repeat this and have some interesting discussions in Alcantara with beer in front of us. Let's do it in a different format.
Love it.
It's my challenge to you guys.
Sounds like a plan.
Accepted for sure.
Okay.
So,
Thank you so much.
Thank you. See ya.
See you.
See you next time.